Hello, my name is Paul Jones, author of Concerning a Nation and several videos on Bible prophecy. For 2 millennia, scholars and fools, and some people who are both, have been trying to identify the beast of Revelation, often misleadingly called the Antichrist, and to explain the number 666. Everyone from Nero to Ronald Reagan, the Pope, the Beatles and the World Bank have all been in the frame, and all sorts of silly arithmetical tricks have been pulled to make the number 666 apply. The bane of prophetic interpretation is to try and force it to fit the times. If you learn nothing else from my videos, please remember that. Now, if I were trying to disprove the qualifications of all those candidates of beasthood, this video would be as long and boring as Dr. Zhivago. But we can ask, what is he? Is the beast a man or a supernatural creature? Some people think if he comes out of the pit, he must be the latter, but this is a misunderstanding. We are told in Revelation 13 that his number is the number of a man. In Revelation 17 we are told that he was but is not and will ascend from the bottomless pit. In other words, he was alive but was dead at the time of John's revelation. But he is being kept somewhere for the time and will return. So, where is he? Clearly he's not in heaven, and if he's dead, he can't be on earth. And he cannot be in the eternal lake of fire because nobody is in the eternal lake of fire yet. In fact, he is the first person to go into it at the end of time. Remember, Hades or hell is the realm of the dead. It is not the eternal lake of fire. In Revelation, Hades or hell is thrown into the lake of fire. Don't confuse them. Now also the prince in Daniel 11 has a human lineage, a genealogy. There is a reference to the gods of his fathers. This is a man. The key to his identity is simplicity itself. But as the book of Proverbs tells us, it is the glory of God to conceal things. Each mystery has a time. The beast was and is not, but will be. Someone who had been alive but was dead at the time of John, who was killed with a sword but will live again. Revelation 13. Remember, the devil contended with God for the body of Moses. He didn't get it, but he gets this guy. Ever been in a casino? Probably not, but I've had the advantage of a misspent youth. Every croupier will tell you that the numbers 1 to 36 on a roulette wheel add up to 666. Go to chapter 36 of Isaiah, the main prophetic book of the Bible, the mini-Bible. The whole chapter is concerned with the arrival of the evil Assyrian king Sennacherib, who was killed with the sword. 2 Kings 19. Now go to the end of Isaiah and count backwards 616 verses. That number is the alternative number of the beast, which you will find in the footnotes of certain Bibles, and it takes you to chapter 36, verse 1. Now go back 6 heads of the beast of Revelation and you get to Assyria. Then go back 6 kings from the destruction of Nineveh: Sin Shah Ishkun, Sin Shumulishir, Ashur Etil Ilani, Ashur Banipal, Esar Haddon, and then finally to Sennacherib. It was he who moved the capital to Nineveh and dedicated the city to the goddess Ishtar, whose name in Aramaic means 6. Even more astonishingly, Sennacherib has left a record of his campaigns in the Holy Land on 3 6-sided cylinders or prisms. One significantly in America, Chicago, one in London and one in Tel Aviv. In other inscriptions, Sennacherib boasts of his universal knowledge, Daniel 8, and the fact that he overthrows every foe, Revelation 13. Clever, boastful and unconquerable, just like the beast. In Daniel 11:30, the final prince is discomfited by ships of Kittim, as is Assyria in Numbers 24:24, the last oracle of Balaam. Ashur, from which we get the name Assyria, and Aber, from which we get the word Hebrew. Chapter 1 of Nahum deals with the destruction of Nineveh, but it is clearly an end-time prophecy with Jesus standing on the Mount of Olives, as he does in Zechariah 14 and Revelation 14. Out of Nineveh comes a wicked counsellor, whose end will be a flood, Nahum 1 and Daniel 9. Now, count 666 verses from the beginning of Isaiah. Those 34 chapters covered by these verses deal with the rebellion of man and the judgment of God, which rebellion, as we know, culminates in the final rebellion of the beast, represented by the number 666. Then chapter 35 deals with the millennium, 10 verses per 100 years. Read it, it's a description of the millennium. Then chapter 36 begins the historical part, which takes us to the end of the first part of Isaiah. So, what is the significance of chapter 34? Well, in Isaiah, as you know, every one of the 66 chapters represents a book of the Bible. Nahum, of course, is the 34th book of the Bible. Now you know his name, he will return. For a burning place has long been prepared, indeed for the king it is made ready, its pyre made deep and wide, with fire and wood in abundance. The breath of the Lord like a stream of sulphur kindles it. Isaiah 30, talking of the king of Assyria. See also Revelation 19. So much for the Gentile persecutor of the Jews. But what about the argument that the beast must be a Jew in order to be accepted as the Messiah and sit in the temple? Here is where people have been misled, or rather have misled themselves by looking for one character called the Antichrist. It has caused centuries of blindness. But there is a second beast, and he has 2 horns. This is the false prophet. Who is he? There is in fact another false prophet in the Bible, and he had 2 horns as well. In the second book of the Chronicles, chapter 18, the false prophet Zedekiah makes himself horns to symbolize the fact that Israel and Judah will push the Syrians out of their land. Is he the false prophet? No. That dubious honor belongs to someone more notorious. The phrase "the son of perdition" is used only twice in the Bible to refer to one person. In John 17:12 it refers to Judas, and in 2 Thessalonians to the man of sin who pollutes the temple. Now look at Zechariah 11, which describes the false prophet who is paid 30 pieces of silver and then breaks the staff to separate Israel and Judah into 2 tribes. There is your 2-horned false prophet, and it is he who will sit in the temple. The horns are Israel and Judah. Judas will also return. Where is Judas now? Like the beast, he was and is not. And like the beast, we are told in Acts 1 that he has gone to his place. 2 final points. How very appropriate is the fact that those numbers on the roulette wheel come to 666. After all, what is this number except the superlative of materiality, of mammon? In the first book of Kings, chapter 10, Solomon at the height of his wealth owned 666 talents of gold, and then his head was turned against God. 6 is the number of material things. We work 6 days a week. It's only the 7th day which makes the week up to the holy number of 7. It's the number of material man without God, and a fitting symbol of his final rebellion and rejection. Why then is it significant that those 3 clay cylinders are kept in the US, Britain and Israel? That's not something we can deal with here, but if you've watched my videos or read my book, you'll have seen this time chart which shows the relationship of the 2 great English-speaking empires to Israel. But that would unfold another tale. The full version can be found in my book Concerning a Nation, but highly significant it is. Thank you for watching, and God bless you all. Please read my book Concerning a Nation, published by Lulu. Thank you again.